Assalamu alaikum dear class. Today we will be discussing regarding management of measurement and scaling in marketing research. Today we are going to dive into an essential topic in marketing research, which is measurement and scaling. Measurement is the process of assigning numbers or labels to objects, events or people according to the specific rules. It is fundamental because it allows us to quantify data, making it easier to analyze and draw conclusions. First of all, let us have a glance into the introduction to measurement. In research, the measurement helps us to translate the abstract concepts such as attitudes, preferences, satisfaction into concrete data. To do this, we need to define what we are measuring and then we apply a consistent method for collecting and interpreting the data. This is where the scaling comes in. The scaling refers to the process of creating a continuum on which we can place the items we are going to measure. Without a measurement and scaling, marketing research would be purely qualitative either and subjective. This means it would be harder to generalize the findings and replicate the research or make decisions based on the empirical evidence. By providing the structure to the data, measurement, and scaling, it allows the researcher to use quantitative methods to analyze and interpret the responses, which leads to more informed and data driven decision making. Now, uh, I would like to discuss the importance and role of measurement and scaling in marketing research. Measurement and scalings are the heart of marketing research because they produce tools we need to transform the subjective perceptions, attitudes, and behaviors into objective and quantifiable data. Here is why it is critical. Number one, it provides objectivity and accuracy. Accurate measurement and scaling helps to eliminate biases in research. Without standardization methods for gathering data, researchers could interpret responses differently, leading to inconsistent results. By defining clear measurement rules and using standardized scales, we ensure that the data collected is consistent and objective in manner. For example, if you are measuring consumer satisfaction, using a consistent Likert scale will help provide standardized results across the participants, making it easier to compare and analyze. Number two, facilities. Comparison scales allow us to assign numerical values to the qualitative responses. This enables marketers to compare the consumer attitude, preferences, opinions, and systematically without measurement. Comparing the opinions of different customer groups or evaluating the effectiveness of different marketing campaigns would be incredibly difficult. For example, if you measure consumer satisfaction on the scale ranging 1 to 5, you can easily compare the satisfaction level of different customer segments and compare the current satisfaction level to the past results. Number 3, it enables statistical analysis. Marketing research often relies on statistical methods to analyze the data. Without proper measurement, it would be impossible to apply these methods. Scalings, such as interval or ratio scales, provides data that can be analyzed mathematically. By using the correct scale, you ensure that you can calculate averages, variances, correlations, and other statistical matrices that really develop insights into consumer behavior. Number 4, it informs the marketing decision making. At the heart of marketing is the need of data driven decision making. For instance, when the companies are deciding whether to launch a new product, it's essential to measure the customer interest, willingness to pay, and potential demand. Measurement and scaling provides accurate data that help the marketer to make informed decisions. Without them, the decisions would be based on gut feelings or anecdotal evidence, which can lead to costly mistakes. Number 5, it predicts future trends. Effective use of measurement and scaling methods also help the marketers to anticipate the future market trends. By tracking how customer attitudes or preferences change over the time using reliable measurement scales, businesses can predict shift in market and adjust their strategies accordingly. For example, if you measure customer satisfaction over several years and the data shows a consistent decline in satisfaction, you can predict that this trend will continue unless the actions are taken to improve the product or service. Number 6 benefit is that it enhances communication of findings. How? Once data is collected, it is essential to communicate it to the stakeholders, whether to the team, management, or clients. Measurement and scaling allows the researcher to present the data in a clear, understandable formats, whether it's through graphs or tables or reports or the scales, whatever, it will give numerical backing to qualitative insights. For instance, saying 80% of customers are satisfied sounds much more credible when supported by the Likert scale survey, as an opposed to a vague description of satisfaction levels. Now, let us discuss the types of scales. There are four primary types of scale used in measurement, each serving in a different purpose and providing varying level of precision. Let's go through each one by one. First of all, nominal scale. A nominal scale is the simplest form of measurement. It categorizes data without any order or value attached. Essentially, it's used to label variables into distinct categories. For example, it includes gender, marital status, or religion. You might ask a survey participant to check off the box. What is your gender? What are your opinions? You can give the options like male, female, or other. Each response is just a label and there is no inherent tracking between them. Nominal scales allows us to count the frequencies, but we cannot calculate anything like averages, means, mod, median, anything, because the numbers don't have any inherent order value. Or number second scale is ordinal scale. The ordinal scale goes a step further. It's not only what categorizes but also orders the data. For example, consider a survey asking respondents to rank their satisfaction on the scale of very unsatisfied, unsatisfied, neutral, satisfied, or very satisfied. This scale has defined an order where very satisfied is greater than neutral, but the distance between each rank is not specified. So, while we know the rank, we can't say how much this is better satisfied as compared to neutral in numerical terms. Now let us come towards the interval scale. An interval scale provides both order and equal distances between the adjacent values. A classical example of interval scale is the temperature scale in Celsius or Fahrenheit. For example, the difference between 10 degrees centigrade and 20 degrees centigrade is same as the difference between 30 degrees centigrade and 40 degrees centigrade. You have a meaningful differences between the values, but there is no zero point. For instance, 0 degree centigrade doesn't mean the absence of temperature, so the ratios aren't meaningful here. Now come towards the ratio scale. The ratio scale is the most advanced form of measurement. It has all the properties of previous scales, categorization, ordering, and equal intervals, but it also includes a 0 point. This means that 0 represents the absence of attribute being measured. For example, include height, weight, income. A 0 on the ratio scale means that there is no height, weight, or income. You can also perform all the mathematical operations here, such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and even division. Now, I will discuss here attitude measurement techniques. In marketing research, we often need to measure the attitudes which are psychological tendencies to evaluate the objects, people's or idea in a certain way. Several techniques exist to measure the attitudes and each provide a different type of insight. Direct methods. The direct methods involve asking respondents directly about their attitudes. For example, you might ask, how much do you like the product on a scale ranging from 1 to 7? And the indirect methods could be these infer the attitudes based on the responses to the related questions or behaviors. A common indirect technique is the projective test, where the participants respond to open-ended question or incomplete sentences revealing the underlying attitudes. So in today's video, so far we have discussed different kind of scales and their application and their practical importance in marketing research. uh, that's all for today's lecture. I hope all of you have clearly understood today's agenda, and in next class we will be discussing a separate topic regarding to the marketing research. Till then, take good care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.